Welcome and good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8, and this is Let's Play The Letter. It's a horror game visual novel. Shouldn't be that hard to remember that name, but hey, we're here in part 7, and this is Let's Play The Letter. It's a horror game. It's a visual novel. Not that there is much change from our original plans. Bar any huge additions to the property itself, the mansion is nearly 100% complete. Let's double check to make sure it's actually recording. Is it? Are you? Yes.
You have certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
Well, I can't take all of the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the right mansion. There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom?
What? Luke and I had a small tip about making the second bedroom into a child's playroom, which I insist is completely practical. Well, I mean, you guys are planning to have kids eventually, though, right? So, I mean, you should have it. I mean, you're rich. I mean, isn't the whole point of being rich being able to take care of your family? In the end, he had acquiesced. I didn't give him any choice in the matter. I even bought this wonderful wooden crib from the antique store yesterday, including some toys. I'd be a little concerned about that, splinters and is it safe? But then my crib was made of that. I mean, I bought it at a store, at Walmart. No? Did I? Yeah, I mean, it took a while to build, but just in case anyone brings their baby, of course. Besides, we have little need for actual guest rooms. We hardly have guests who spend the night. We absolutely have to. We often choose to foot the bill for their visit on one of our hotels instead. Always at Luke's own insistence. And off the chance that we actually let someone stay, the bedroom is the opposite wing and still up to task.
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned. I already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables. He may as well let me have this one thing.
That doesn't seem like it's a compromise. I mean, especially since that should be something that he wants as well. I mean, you guys are... No, I did not agree to him having a helipad.
All right, then.
Would that building even handle a damn helipad?
Well, do we have any other concerns? Anything we need to put on our agenda before the party commences?
No, I don't think so. Not unless Luke has anything else to say.
Is he around, then? It'd be best if we can note down his request right away, considering the scope of his usual ones.
Around? No. Where is he? Probably dead. Who knows where? In the cellar, dead.
No, he's not around.
He's the one person I'm not going to feel bad when the ghost kills them. Wait, is there anyone else? Thinking? Sir John? Maybe. Now I'm treating the fucking ghost like it's a hitman. Like, okay, I had a problem with this person. You know what to do, girl from The Grudge. She didn't have to point the obvious now, did she? It's her job. After 7 long years, I'd already gotten used to him. I should be doing it now. Still not apparently.
Don't you have a party?
I want nothing more than to complain, to whine about how unfair this is. However, airing out one's dirty laundry is simply taboo among the high society. To do so will make you ripe target for the next dinner party chit-chat. Vultures, a lot of them really. Or most of them, at least. There are always good ones like Rosalie. If I put your trust in the wrong person, you'll find yourself eagerly picked apart.
Yes, but Luke's just being a sweetie, you see. That friend he's visiting. He's having marital problems, and he's just trying to cheer him up.
Are you sure? Perhaps I'm being too rash, a bit too high-headed in divulging details, but I thought myself clever with the plan to dress it up as gossip. Marianne raised a brow to make me unsure whether she's interested or not. Although that does not make things better if she has no interest, and therefore has no hidden intent to utilize whatever I might say to her.
They've been married for a long time, and they've hit a... how do they say it? A rough patch. His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband.
I feel like you're using this like it's, you're the husband who's trying to be good, and, the wife, you're trying to voice how, Luke has a drinking problem.
But it's never enough for her. Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark. What do you think?
What do I think of the matter, ma'am?
No, what do you think of my hair? It feels so lifeless and dull today, and that's no good for a party. And I think I'm breaking out into zits.
Now that you mention it, there is something different.
There better not be something on my face.
There's a ghost strangling you in the last episode.
I wouldn't worry about that. You do look a little paler than usual, ma'am. I apologize if I'm crossing any lines here, but have you been resting properly?
Huh. You'd think I get a bit tanned with how sunny it's been lately. Don't you worry. I feel right as rain and never better.
I should probably get more sunlight.
But back to
Only
the
outside at
matter
nighttime a lot of times.
You were asking for my personal opinion on the matter, ma'am? Do you want me to be honest, or...?
Yeah, be honest.
Be honest with me, Marianne. I don't need someone to sugarcoat it. I'm not some fragile thing that I'm just going to break down at the slightest thing.
She hesitates to take a sip of her coffee while I stare at my own cup of tea. The silence stretches on, and I almost believe that she will never answer the question. I imagine she's like, "Ma'am, I know that was an anecdotal story. You're talking about your husband, Luke, and his drinking problem. And I suppose I shouldn't blame her putting her in a tight spot like this. Her hesitation is understandable, though. I loathe to admit it, she simply wants this whole thing to stay professional. But then she speaks.
If I'm going to be completely honest, I need to ask. This is about you and Mr. Wright, isn't it?
Yay! Thank you for, well, being able to figure it out. It's my turn to hesitate now. It's like, I'm asking for a friend, really! It's totally not about me. I really didn't expect such a straightforward question. And to get to the heart of the matter. Is it recording? Yes. I suppose I'm not as clever as I'd like to think. Or is it really that bad that an outsider can see our little marital troubles? He's constantly drinking! Surely we aren't that obvious, are we? Yes. Yes, it is. We put up the act of a perfect couple for years, although it hadn't always been an act. Mary-Jeanne is just more keen than an average person, of course. It's a necessity for her career, and she's working so closely with us. Yes, that's it.
Suppose it is. What would you tell me?
Then, I tell you it's none of my business. I tell you that I don't want to meddle. But, if the troubled husband with the neglectful wife asked me for my honest opinion, I'd say that he shouldn't base his happiness and his self-worth on someone else.
Those are good points.
Someone who won't even give him the time of the day. Maybe he should try being independent for a while. See what it's like when he isn't trying to please someone else and doing things for himself. Everyone's supposed to be their own man or woman, right? A bit of breathing room never hurt anyone. That's just my 2 pence worth, of course.
So you're saying they should divorce?
She didn't say that.
Nothing as drastic as that. If they're afraid that it might lead to just that, then maybe that is what's meant to happen in the first place.
But yeah, honestly, Hannah, you should get a divorce. You guys are terrible.
We shouldn't let our fear control our lives. But it's just a short hiatus is all. Or, couples therapy? Look, I'm really not the best person to ask about relationships. So grain of salt and all that.
She trails off having said her piece and leaves nothing but the smell of coffee and Earl Grey between us. Why would you have issues with a relationship? I don't know. There is calm despite the nature of what has been discussed. To say that her words make me wish start to think is an understatement. To say that I'm considering her advice is a lie. To say that this might just be the calm before a storm is a possibility. Others have had stronger marriages, yes, but plenty have celebrated long and happy ones as well. My own parents celebrated their coral anniversary before they passed away. What does that mean? What does coral mean? I know it's a thing in the ocean, like a sea reef, but Coralline, I don't know what that means. But 7 years? 7 years isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. It isn't a whole lot of time to see what and where our relationship can bring us. And at the same time, 7 years, well, it hasn't entirely made up of unhappy years, has it? It won't last forever, it's not supposed to anyway. I just dread the thought that it might last for a very long time. I dread the thought that these small spats, these little disagreements will turn into an all-out resentment. The idea that we grow to hate each other with every fiber of our being scares me. I can't even pinpoint the exact moment when our blissful union turns sour. He's probably fucking other people behind your back. When did he start to seek other women, lacking any ulterior motives? When do we start to cooperate only to suit our materialistic greed and attention-seeking ways? Money and success, fame and glamour, are those the only reasons we stay together? There was a rough cough before Marianne cleared her throat. I must have been quiet for so long. I moved to apologize when she stands up. We both end up on our feet, unsure how to proceed. Some sort of odd, awkward shuffle occurs as we decide whether to sit back down.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party? Oh, you really must, Marianne.
I'll try to stay and chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies. Busy, busy, busy.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least. If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
We'll see. So, if I can be excused?
Certainly. You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive. Because, believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
The scene outside the parlor is a great, organized mess. Aside from our own household help, we hired the service of a temp agency which provides staff for the right enterprise in the hospitality sector. Even our very skilled staff cannot undertake a party this size on their own. Waiters, busboys, hostesses, and their staff, captains move in droves, carrying crockery and serverware good for several dozen people and then some. Chefs and bartenders tail after Johannes, looking like scared little children as he escorts them through the kitchen and into the wine cellar to pursue the stocks, to select what can be served at the party and what can be used for cooking.
Schnell! We have a lot to do, and I believe we did not.
That means
hire
hurry.
Snails.
Schnell! It means hurry.
Snails are for the dishes.
Snails, I don't think I've ever eaten a snail and never want to. Escargot sounds and looks disgusting. A string quartet readies up to play for the evening, tuning their instruments as they fill the air with idle chatter. Wow, I don't think the Ghost has had this many friends in a long time. Like, the girl from The Grudge is like, I keep trying to scare everyone, and now they have a string quartet. What the fuck? Floor decor with thousands fill vases, wreaths, and baskets. White petals are scattered along the driveway up front. An ice sculpture of a reindeer is brought in carefully by a pair. It is followed by a simple cake, just 5-tier white chiffon, one with white chocolate mousse, fresh berries, and a light dusting of edible gold leaf. Okay? But despite the fact that I told Marianne how I will attend to all this, I find myself unable to focus or take care of any of it. I still have our discussion running in my mind, and looking at all this, I only see Luke everywhere. These are all the grand things that Luke wanted to have for the party. I had wanted a small, elegant, and simple gathering, with only a select few invited, namely the people who I would actually trust to enter my home. I did not want any bloody politicians or paparazzi in here, no matter how used I am to
At
catering.
least be here for your party. Damn it, Luke.
The entire thing screamed Luke Wright, and I can't help but add another question to my growing list of queries. When did I lose myself? It's always about him nowadays, isn't it? What about Hannah Wright? What about Hannah Evans? I used to be my own woman, who made her own name, her own career, and her own decisions. Sure, I was already the social butterfly that I still am today, but it wasn't all empty, shallow gossip and sitting pretty. I was also lauded for my knowledge and talent. Finance manager wasn't just handed to me, just because my father owned the company. I insisted that I start at the bottom so I could work my way up to the top and prove myself. And I did. I worked numbers, managed budgets, money, and accounts, analyzing the competition and market trends. There was the calculation of financial risk, cost reduction opportunities, auditor liaison, and public relations, and supervisor of staff, and, well, I generally had a huge slew of responsibilities. Admittedly, I was already quite the attention seeker even back then, having dedicated most of my youth to craving for my parents' approval. Failing that, I turned to others, looked for praise from anyone who would give it, however fleeting it all was. And Luke, oh Luke, the way he looked at me, and the way he watched me and took a genuine interest, he had me disgustingly obsessed since day one, hasn't he? He saw me for me, Hannah Evans, both my faults and my achievements. The man didn't treat me like some damsel in distress or some prize to be won. I remember the nights before we were married, where we talked about everything and anything. Big things like business, society, and philosophy, to little things such as what we had for breakfast, or whether we liked cats or dogs for. We both prefer dogs. Nowadays, I'm just Luke Wright's wife. It's mostly my fault, isn't it? They told me that husbands preferred wives who are docile and subordinate. A woman who will always be there for him, yet would never outshine him in all aspects. Honestly, I feel that's an outdated concept. Like, is there a back button? Not sure if there is. Backlog. Okay, docile and supportive. No. I feel it's a very outdated concept and kind of dumb. Men want someone who can be their best friend, someone who they find beautiful, who they can watch a movie with, who they can, hang out outside with. That, you can make random comments about, oh, look at that star, the way that's moving. And just be amazed by the way the clouds look, and just the other person's actually interested in your random bambling. Beyond that, just someone you trust, someone you feel safe with. Someone who's nice to you. I mean, I wouldn't say docile and supportive, I would say someone who is not cheating on you and not abusive. How about that? Someone who respects you, and this is the whole point of a relationship, two equals who love and care for each other, who are best friends, who find each other very sexually attractive and enjoy having lots of fun every chance they get, but also enjoy each other's company and just being together and trust each other? I don't know. I'm weird, I guess. A wife needs to be at home and attend to his needs, to have children and to take care of them in his absence. They said I have no business working anymore after I was married. I can blame society. But I listened. Before I can fall further into his introspective pit of self-loathing, someone calls for my
The
attention.
guests have arrived, madam.
And Luke?
Running a bit late, I'm afraid.
Late for his own party. That man, I swear. He's probably looking to make a dramatic entrance, knowing
He's
him.
dead, and he's the only person I'm not feeling bad for. Or he's fucking the woman that I'm not entirely sure is into men,
Open the doors then. We mustn't tarry.
because I can't seem to read people well enough. Cars line up the driveway, peppering the front of the mansion with vehicles of every kind. Grand Tours, supercars, even the odd high-end muscle car or two, convertibles, grand saloons, and other luxury cars can be seen being parked by valets. A handful of cabs drive off, possibly for those who find it too troublesome to bring their own cars. There are at least two different media vans as well. They're all here for what may be considered the biggest event of the year for Luxembourg. So far, until the murder spree. Who knows what we'll plan for the winter holidays? Everyone will be dead.
Welcome, everyone. Please make yourselves at home.
Some of the guests idle, enjoying the warm, if not strange, sunshine we are experiencing before gloomy skies inevitably return. They greet acquaintances and friends with warm smiles, others less so. From where I stand, I can see the hierarchy of power, the ties that bind these individuals here, whether they go through convenience or necessity. However, there are also a few who are not here to further cement their current place in high society, such as that young man with his oriental hair, ignorant of the looks he receives from women and men alike.
Be careful with Shirley, alright?
Man from the Orient. On Or that rose-haired woman talking on her phone while she looks unsure of why she is there exactly.
Yes, I'm at the party already, Mom.
Why?
Yes, I'll say hi to her if I can.
I see Zachary the photographer there as well. He talks to a few other media crew with an air of
I was
familiarity.
just here a few days ago, yeah. Yeah, and the inside is huge, but the staff are pretty helpful if you get lost.
I have no sense of direction. I had invited Father Norman too. His least thing to do would be bless the mansion on my request, aside from my small donation to the church, of course. But the poor man had taken ill and went through a nervous breakdown of some sort the other day. So, you brought a priest to bless the house, and then he became ill, and then he's probably dead. I'm just saying this, if you hire a priest to do an exorcism, and then suddenly they have cancer, or they have Ebola, or they suddenly have a complete psychotic breakdown, red flag? And then there are people like the Chief Inspector, who you talked to earlier in the story, he's a dick. People who can never be too sure about. People who stand on the border between suspicious and being
Thank you for
trustworthy.
the invite, Anna. Husband still missing, I see.
I should be saying the same of your darling Rochelle, Lee. The doctors again.
She told me she'll just be in the gardens.
Is Luke fucking your wife? Wait, she's pregnant. What if the child's Luke's? What if the one woman you said you thought you could trust, because you're like, oh, I can't trust any of these people, is this dude's wife? What if she is pregnant with your husband's child? This has become an episode of Jerry Springer.
Bet she's lying and that she's somewhere around mingling, gossiping with the other ladies.
Or she's getting fucked by the real father of your child. That's Luke.
No offense, but that seems to be all you ladies do at these parties.
And aren't you gossiping right now?
Yes, well, what about Luke? Should we file a missing persons report now, or do you want to wait 24 hours?
Gonna have to wait 24 hours.
He's around.
He's in the cellar and he's dead.
You know, I can tell if someone's bluffing. Don't tell me, let me guess. He's finally drunken himself to death and not wanting a scandal, you've hidden his body. I was wanting to give this housewarming gift to him personally, too.
That's actually possible. That's actually a possible way for him to be dead without the ghost's intervention. But we have a ghost to help him along on that, and he's the one person that I'm not going to feel bad about.
It's a plate
dying.
that holds a wine glass so he can stop killing himself with liquid lunches.
I don't think that does what you think it does.
Looks like it's too late for that.
Nothing like that. Besides, this is a hardly polite conversation.
Oh, relax, I'm just trying to be cheeky to lighten the mood. It's not like I want Luke dead.
Everyone wants Luke dead.
The man doesn't serve dodgy plonk like the others when I visit, and he pays his respects well enough.
Yeah, we'll make a save.
I could use a glass of wine or three, actually. Michelle's been in a horrid mood. Threw her stilettos at me the other day and almost took an eye out.
You guys don't have a healthy relationship.
Not sure if this is how it usually goes, but I blame the pregnancy.
Well, I think any change in hormones for anyone has a big issue, whether you're a man or a woman. I mean, as much as we as humans hate to admit this, our own brain chemistry is very, very sensitive. I mean, just whether or not you have a low blood sugar, or what you've eaten, or how recently you've eaten, or how much grease was in the food you ate, or your blood pressure, or the amount of dopamine or serotonin you have a huge impact on how you behave, even how you view the world. So, as much as we like to claim that we have souls and that we have really, good hearts and all that, at the end of the day, we're just biomechanical computers with chemical reactions. Well, there's something going on inside your brain, whether it's endorphins or adrenaline or changes in dopamine levels. It changes drastically how you think, feel, Or what about your ATP levels? Or what about your adenosine levels? Or how much bilirubin you have in you, or how many you have of certain types of blood cells, or just if you're feeling ill. But I mean, yeah, just the chemicals in our brains, I mean, have such a huge impact.
I wouldn't know, would I?
So no plans for a baby?
That might be sensitive to talk
Well, I
about.
guess that's for the best. If it's this bad now, I can't even imagine how bad it'll be when that little baby bump becomes huge.
This is uncomfortable, and I'm a guy playing a video game. I'm a dude playing a video game, and I feel uncomfortable with this subject. Like, with the way this is going. I imagine if you were a woman in a real-life situation, and a guy is talking to you like this, I imagine you'd probably slap him. But I'm just a dude sitting and playing a video game, and I'm like, the amount of uncomfortable I feel with this conversation. But I mean, like I said, our brain chemistry does have a huge impact, but it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Changes in your dopamine or serotonin levels have a huge impact on just everything. Have I mentioned how I don't trust him, no matter how hard I try to do so? At least he brought a gift.
Why don't you just go inside and have some wine, Lee?
Think I will, thanks.
Greetings such as these carry on as the guests continue to trickle in. Whether we have short conversations or merely shake hands and nod heads. As the first hour passes by, the rest of the stragglers I adjourn to the ballroom. Any latecomers will have the attention of porter instead. So, like doorman, I think? I have other duties to attend to now. Hosting parties is always the same old song and dance. Are we gonna find Luke fucking Marianne in the basement, but both of them dead? You make sure your guests are well fed, have good company, and have generally enjoyed themselves. So when my opening remarks are done, when the band has started to play, and the guests have started eating, I find myself wandering around aimlessly unless I am pulled aside. For a while, I stay with a small group and entertain them before excusing myself. Like, honestly, if I went to a party like this sort of thing, though, I don't think I've ever been to a party that was like this kind of fancy thing. It was usually just, people drinking, I guess. But the whole point to go to a party is, one, to see your friends, and to possibly meet new people that could become friends, or, maybe there's a pretty girl that maybe would like to go check out a movie with you. And when they're not anymore watching me, I end up watching them. When they don't listen, I do. A local banker is having trouble with his daughter. He wishes to marry her off, but she wants nothing but to make music. One of our hotel managers worried about the stolen belongings of one of his patrons, failing in security, which should be brought up to a higher authority soon. Our mayor, well, his cat died. And then there's this rose-haired woman once again. It is hard not to notice her with her distinctive locks. She also lacks the grace that the other ladies have, though that does not make her any less beautiful. Her stance and the air she exudes instead are strong, and they make her stand out despite her casual attire. Many men have given her their attention, though each invitation to dance has been turned down. I approach, intrigued, although it is no great mystery what occupies her attention, with the glances she keeps sending towards the corridor. Yeah, I know. Becca's obviously got a crush on Ash, though I think Ash has a crush on Isabel. Zach might have a crush on Becca, but I think Becca wants to set Isabel up with Zach. She remains unaware, though, even as I stand beside her, pretending that I am there for a drink.
You would catch his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think?
Didn't realize the housewarming was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew.
Oh, you're fine, dearie. It's only really the parvenu, those who climb, that come to these parties all dolled up. Quite the black-haired beauty, isn't he?
The boy comes over, but I do nothing to speak any soft. He merely passes by and is wondering if he doesn't feel what I
Who,
say.
Ash?
You know, you really shouldn't have turned down his offers. If I wasn't married, I'd happily go dancing with those young men. But you said a name. Ash. That's the exquisite lad you've been looking at all this time. I don't know him, and I'm the one hosting this party. That must mean you know each other. Is he your boyfriend then? Because that would explain those rejections.
Why does she look so unhappy? Because you think Ash doesn't like you, and you're like, oh, I'm sad because I can't be with the person I like? Just tell him! But obviously you can tell that he likes your friend, and so you're jealous. In all my life, I've never seen a face grow red so fast. Again, I'm gonna have to say it again. I am a huge fan of the artist. Look at this drawing, it's so well done. The shade of her hair did not help as well. This is the most pink I've seen on a person, really.
What?
It's actually really cute.
No, that's ridiculous. He isn't my boyfriend.
Such a violent reaction. A simple no would have sufficed. Many here would be happy to hear it.
And I haven't been looking at him.
Like I said, if you like someone, just tell them.
That's right. You've been staring. Quite heatedly, in fact. Although I'm not sure if you look like you want to kiss him or kill him.
It's more the latter currently.
Just don't go murdering him on my property. I don't want to walk into a room and suddenly find a body there.
You're going to. Are we gonna see the ghost per se? It is chilling, and though I am used to enduring the gaze, this one makes the hairs on my back of my neck stand up. Understandably! I will say this, guys. When you guys start seeing... Like, it was one thing when, oh, our friend said she saw the girl from the garage, and she's got a letter with all sorts of blood. I was probably a panic, and she's freaking out. When you guys start seeing the girl from the garage yourselves, call up your friend and be like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the fuck's happening. I'm seeing it too now. You've infected me with the banana phone. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there was a Flash animation on Newgrounds back when Flash animations existed, where there was these people that this guy just gets the song Banana Phone. Da 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 da. Banana phone. Cellular, modular, activator. Anyway, like I said, it's just, it is creepy, but it's very well done, drawn creepy. Like the drawing is very good. I'm a fan of this aesthetic. My attention is pulled from the girl, and I see a woman staring. Dark-haired and dirty, she looks more like a beggar than a guest, and I have half a mind to call security at her when her mouth breaks out into a grin. All I hear is her laughing. Taunting. Her stare makes my blood run cold. She looks at me like I am nothing but a pig to slaughter for her amusement. It makes my hand shake and I nearly drop my drink. But then, in a blink, she's gone. And the buzz of the party returns.
I'll keep that in mind, but... Are you alright?
No, I am not.
Yes, sorry. I just thought I saw something strange. It must be the trick of the light.
You guys are...
Anyway, on a right, as you must already know.
Rebecca Gales.
Gales.
Achievement. Reunion? The name is familiar like a fond memory. I recall a kind lady, a private tutor who treated me like her own daughter when I was young. She'd even bring me food when there was no need to do so. Usually stovies, which I had hadn't been too keen about, though I ate them nonetheless because she brought them.
Oh, the professor! And your little Becky!
My parents couldn't make it since they're in Scotland right now. And Mom says hi, by the way. But yeah, that's me. Little Becky. We met once before.
Why are you taking offense? That was a term of endearment, of affection.
Yes, oh, I remember you! You were the cutest little thing with glasses!
She's doting on you. It's nice.
And when we met, you were having boy troubles with this lad called something with an A. What was it again? Aaron, Alan, Adele, Albert, Alexander, Andrew?
I feel like you're teasing her now. The more I list of names, the more red and the more quiet Becky gets. She starts to look a bit miserable as her body language shows discomfort and stiffness. Perhaps I have triggered a horrid childhood memory? Surely I hadn't been mean when she visited with her mother. I didn't quite remember all of it.
Ashton! Ash! That man is that boy! The same one. Oh, goodness me, after all these years! I can see
Just
why, though.
tell him!
Quite dashing.
You don't really need to announce it to everyone within earshot, you know? Keep it down.
Just tell him!
I'm so sorry, but it really is cute.
And it's a bit sad.
So, this is a nice party, Miss Wright.
Please, Anna's fine. We're friends of a sort, aren't we? We must be friends, seeing as I know about your little infatuation, Becky. Don't you worry, dearie. You'll have your happy ending yet.
No.
I'm not too concerned about that, am I? That's not what I'm looking for.
Oh? And what makes you think that? Doesn't everybody want their happy ending?
The idea of happy endings sounds like they're just for fairy tales.
I mean, it'd be nice if they exist in real life, but honestly, it's kind of interpersonal relationships tend to be hard, I guess. It's the way the human race
And
functions.
they are, sorta. I don't think you can just sit around, trapped in some tower and hope for the best.
That's why you have to tell him you like
You
him.
love them. You have to fight for it, right?
Yes, so tell him you like him.
You're not just going to sit there and hope that everything will just fix itself on its own. Like everything, you have to work at it.
So tell him.
But what do I know?
There's grimace, although she stares relaxed around my presence. How long has it been since we met as children? Certainly a long time. She was tiny back then, if I recall.
I'm sure the daughter of the two greatest professors I've ever known is smart enough to know what she's talking about. But have you told him how you feel? And it's been what? 20 years?
17, actually. But no, not yet. He can be a bit dense. I was hoping that maybe he'd notice on his own and...
Well, that won't do. What if you two become husband and wife? He's not to be dense when he's sworn himself to another person. Why, you might just as well consider leaving before the day's even begun.
If that happens, I'll have to give him a good ear bashing, won't I? Whoever anyone ends up with, it's not going to be a perfect relationship anyway. There's going to be things you'll love and things you'll hate about the other person. We're just humans.
Yep, everybody's unique.
It's funny. Here I am, trying to give you advice when you did the very same thing back then. I remember you giving me a makeover when we were still kids. And you were the first I told anyone about my... crush.
I don't think you really should refer to it as a crush anymore when you've been harboring these feelings for 2 decades. Tell him! That's the other thing I don't understand, like, when there's a woman like this says, oh no, I can't find blah blah. You're incredibly pretty! Like... Did I give her that yellow summer dress, the pink blouse, and the petticoat? She must have kept some of what I said in mind. It feels ridiculous remembering all the years later talking about boys and how they go crazy for pretty girls, as if it's some gospel everyone should hear to. It was so easy to say such things with me not knowing any better. Though, looking at her now, she must have kept some of what I said in mind. Perhaps I did say something good at the time, enough for her to take it to heart. But all that did matter in the moment as I mull over what she just said in my head. What Becky told me is very different from what Marianne told me. There is no time to ponder over that. However, as hush descends upon the once lively crowd, the music of strings... Oh. And the music of strings and the chatter slows to a grinding halt as the door from the foyer opens. The last of the latecomers should have arrived moments ago. Luke? Is Luke showing up super drunk? Anyone else this late would simply be too embarrassed to show their face. Is it going to be Luke, drunk off his ass? So there's only be one person, or rather one man. There's only one man who is audacious enough to arrive at his own party so
Good
late.
evening, ladies and gents. Enjoying the party?
Okay, he seems composed. He might be a little buzzed. He seems to be like kind of... But I think he's close enough to sober.
I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the Wright Mansion.
Unlike I, who was raised in spotlights and grew used to its presence, he sought it out every chance he could, even when there was no spotlight that shone. And I'll never put it against him when he smiles like that. He did so quite brilliantly under the scrutiny when he channels his showmanship. You can tell by the way people's eyes light up as he speaks. How they listen, enraptured, even if all he's doing is a simple greeting. A little wave of his hand here, a little smile there, and a bit of swagger. I always tell him that if he is not to be a businessman, he'll do well as an entertainer. I love this side of him, especially when he looks at me, and he beckons me over to humbly share his place. Not a single second is wasted as I excuse myself from Becky's side, and I make my way to Luke's.
Welcome, one and all, to our humble abode. Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are our ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen. If you would excuse my presumptuousness.
No, I'm not excusing it. I would rather the ghost came in, dragging you dead.
So, enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses as we only allowed the best to be served.
Your dick.
Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone!
What would anyone ever see in you? There is a round of applause, cheers, and even some hoots. Guests approach us left and right to shake Luke's hand and greet him personally, praise on their lips. It is because of this that I do not see her. Want to double check, make sure real quick that this is recording before we, yes, it appears to be recording. I do not see her until she's dangerously close, with fury in her eyes, and she's already spitting venom. What? Who? What? Johans restrains her, taking care not to unnecessarily harm the pregnant woman? Oh, so this is the Rochelle woman that you said is your best friend. Okay. So, but this is the police chief's wife. Okay, so this is the police chief's wife, who is pregnant, and is also her best friend. But she's yelling and having to be restrained. Why? But that does not little to deter her rage, and the man has no choice but to let her go, lest an unborn child is hurt. I mean, I'd be very concerned about that too. I remember there were sometimes I would help move some elderly people that were like in their 80s and had conditions like cirrhosis of the liver and things like that, to the point that sometimes they were a little bedridden, and sometimes they would need assistance to even be able to get out of their bed. But the thing is this, the person's skin was so thin from their age, it was like tissue paper. And if you lifted too hard in a certain area of the body, it would actually leave bruises. It was so very hard to properly move the person like that. And no matter what, you're doing everything in your power, but it's just, even though I was probably a little bit stronger back then, it was the awkward dead weight situation of it. The way you try to move it, you're trying to force all the weight on your back in a certain way so as to alleviate any sort of pressure points on the other person's body, because you're trying not to hurt them. But it is so hard and actually painful to your own body that it's just, apparently I lack the core strength to do that sort of thing. But it's just... Anyway. Although it might be too late for that, as I see an empty glass of wine in her hand. Well, I mean, one glass of wine might be okay. How much has she imbibed it? Maybe just the one?
Are you feeling ill, Rochelle? Perhaps you need to sit down and...
No! Shut it, you munter! I ain't talking to you! I'm talking to this scumbag over here!
I don't know what munter means, but I assume a lot of these are British slang terms?
You bloody bastard standing there with your smarmy smile!
Yeah? She interrupts me, jabbing her finger in my direction before she rounds on Luke. Even as whispers and rumors break out amongst the guests, all I can focus on is the heat of the moment. Obviously intoxicated, judging by the smell of alcohol on her breath. I'm not ticked off about this little displays of her, at least not yet, but I am absolutely pissed by the fact that she'd endanger her own baby by drinking. Yeah, I mean, granted it's her body, and hopefully like one glass of alcohol wouldn't hurt the baby, but you know, that's between her and the father of the child. I mean, it's their child, but at the same time, I definitely don't agree with the idea of pregnant women smoking and drinking, but, you know, not my body. But at the same time, if it was my kid, I wouldn't care. But it's just... Then again, I'm just a very non-aggressive individual, so I tend to avoid, you know, well, confronting people. There is a considerable amount of restraint and grace that I must exercise while I wait for her tantrum to subside. I keep a patient, if tight, smile on my face. Luke's expression, on the other hand, is indecipherable.
Watch your tongue! You're on thin ice, Rochelle.
What? I'm confused. I'm very confused.
Where's your husband? Who even invited you?
I did.
And I told you with great emphasis not to. Now we have a drunk, hormonal, pregnant woman causing a stir. What is even going on?
What is going on? I am just about to ask this exact same thing. Yeah, we are all on that page. Hannah.
I don't know. But Rochelle, do calm down before you hurt yourself. I can't understand a word you're saying.
Where is that husband of yours? Lee! Collect your wife right now!
Don't you fucking talk like I'm not here and you're not responsible, you ass!
Oh god! He did get her pregnant. Oh, and on the one hand, while the whole social people will be like, oh no, it's so embarrassing for her to find out that her husband impregnated this other person. How about we just go with the fact that, you know, she still technically loves this guy, and she finds out that he cheated on her and he betrayed her in such a way, and this is the one friend that she thought she had that she could trust. Also, these hairstyles do not match. How does it go from this color to this color?
You told me that I should wait for you in the gardens.
Excuse me. What is this nonsense you're going on about?
Crazy talk. That's all it is. Just completely and utterly mad.
Well?
Has anyone seen the Chief Inspector?
I am pregnant with your little bastard. You promised me you'll take responsibility.
Well, yeah.
God damn it, Luke. I finally got you to talk to me after months of silence, and you do this to me.
What?
What do you mean you're pregnant with?
Yeah, I would definitely, like, that would have to be, like, huge emotional shock to you, and I imagine that would be very, very, very heartbreaking. I'm sorry.
Luke, is this true?
Lies and slander, woman! Security! Johans, take her out of here before she makes an even bigger fool of herself!
No, you do not do this to me. I was so ready to leave my stupid oaf of a husband. I told you to leave that damn wife of yours.
Oh, fuck.
Look at her. Does she look like she wants a baby? Does she look like she could take care of a baby?
What is that reasoning? What? 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 I imagine Lee is going to be very sad about this. It is now that Johans returns to security along with a very concerned-looking Officer Lee. I'm sorry, Lee. I really am. Yeah. They surround her and move to escort the hysterical woman. Judging by his pale face, he had heard the whole thing, and I feel nothing but pity for the man. I mean, yeah, I feel pity for you. I mean, I'm sorry. I feel bad for Hannah. Not that I believe Rochelle. Luke will never go so far as to sleep with another woman, right?
I'm so sorry for her behavior. She's been under a lot of stress. And the alcohol.
That response is weird, Officer Lee. Did you already know?
Talking nonsense, that's all it is.
Has Luke offered to pay you to keep quiet?
You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking?
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
Particularly the guy on the right, but both these people should be a lot more shocked at this. Is there really nothing here but the ramblings of the drunk? Of course, they're nothing but ramblings of a drunk. You're in denial! She's just jealous. And you're in denial! Jealous of my wonderful marriage, this happily ever after that I have with my prince. You know, I'll be honest, I do want that. I'm a bit of a hopeless romantic. Like, I do like the ideas of a happily ever after where you have somebody you love and, you know, you're actually happy together. But honestly, that's not really a thing that seems to exist as far as I can tell. And you are in denial.
Take that trollop out of here immediately! And see to it that she isn't allowed here or anywhere we hold any authority in Luxborn.
To be banned from anything with the right name on it is basically social suicide. You practically own half of Luxborn, and there isn't a single establishment of repute that isn't under our patronage one way or another. This is mercy. I can do much worse to her. At least this way she can move out of the city and can never ever return. I have stayed my hand in the face of her grievous fault, her bold-faced lies, when she deserves so much more. I can take away her business, have her factory shut down. It's too easy to ruin her life until she's just nothing. And it is all so tempting. I can only see red. The tension is thick in the air, and the silence that embraces the room is nearly deafening. There are worried, almost fearful glances from some of the guests, yet at the same time, I can still hear them whispering. But as long as they hold their tongues and don't interfere, none of that matters. Especially when my darling looks at me with a different shine in his eyes. Someone seems to be proud of what I have done. And that spurs me on more than anything.
Everyone, please go back to enjoying the party. Don't let that mess of a woman ruin your night.
You heard her! Strike up the band, maestro, and let us dance like fireflies in the night!
Yep, everything's fine and dandy now! Takes a bit for the crowd to stir again in the face of all that. But like most problems of the elite, it is brushed under the rug and forgotten in favor of merriment. Well, that wouldn't just be the elite. I think everyone does that, right? Even if your merriment's just, you know, around a folding table in a backyard. You know, everyone prefers to be happy. He offers his hand to me with a small smirk and a bow.
Well, that was a mess, wasn't it? And you handled it magnificently.
It happens. We are very important people, are we not?
Milady, would you like to dance?
With pleasure, my prince.
No one is going to get in between me and my darling husband. I know this is out of place. You see this girl right here with the orange hair? Look at that ass! These tits. Also, look at the way this flower is drawn up here. You know, I kind of feel like this is a Where's Waldo now. Like, where am I going to find the grudge girl just hiding? Like, ah, she's behind the purple dress! Ah, I found it, and here's Where's Waldo! Not some common whore or an ambitious maid. No one is going to get near him in that manner, not while I'm around. And if I have anything to say about it, no one is going to get near him at all. I feel like you're starting to go near the Sudare category now, but then again, given the outburst you just heard, honestly I feel that's understood. So, normal, I guess. The day after proved to be a difficult task. My darling prince is a man of many connections and a man of people. He is always talking to one person or another, and I am always left alone, unable to stay at his side at all times. It is frustrating, but I have to be understanding. Besides, I don't see why he can't just stay at home. The least I can do is make sure, have his time while he's here. Which in and of itself isn't as easy as it sounds. Not with the bloody valet of his tailing him around.
Johans! Where's my tie? I can't find it anywhere.
You're wearing a tie.
Have you looked around your neck? It should be there if it's not on your clothes horse, sir.
Clothes horse? What? It isn't often I'm awake this early in the morning, and early enough to find my darling preparing for the day with his valet attending to him. It is an old-fashioned way to go about the morning. He's able to dress himself, after all. But he says that it really makes the day easier for him to have someone else do this tedious task, albeit with a grimace. Though, if that manservant of his dislikes the duty so much, I'll gladly do it in his stead.
I've got it, my prince. Come here.
Well, someone's up and at them especially early this morning, huh? Here I thought you'd be knackered by all the dancing we did last night at the party. And after that, well...
A saucy little wink and a smile is what he offers me as I draw close to fix his tie. And when the valet reaches out with his perfume, I quickly take it and shoo him aside. This close, his scent fills me with the smell of white flowers, cocoa, cardamom, and almonds. It is intoxicating. It is a sight of two of us in the vanity mirror is picturesque and perfect. Can I help it if I feel a bit resentful that another person gets to do this for Luke every morning, when I could have done it myself? No,
You're
no,
dismissed, Shrokin. I have this. Go on then. You'll be summoned if you're needed.
There is a curious look, furrowed brows, for any sign that he cares that he's wiped from his expression.
Very well. If you need me, I'll be somewhere that isn't here.
You could have let the man do his job.
And I say there's no need for him. I can take care of you just fine, my prince. Just where are you off to this morning anyway?
I hate the thought of him leaving me. Feels like an eternity without him here. In this lonely place that doesn't feel like a home quite yet. Although the mansion is really growing on me, slowly but surely. I want to be at his side, yet he fails to see such an obvious thing.
Where else?
Why can't you just work from home? You can afford to, can't you?
Business needs a firm hand and a personal touch, Buttercup. Besides, I can't stay cooped up forever in here. I'll go mad.
Can't say I really like the term buttercup.
Well, you'll come back home as soon as possible, won't you?
Can't say I'd be against a woman referring to me as prince or all that, but at the same time, I think there's better, like baby or honey or something like that. I mean, the whole point is a term that's met with affection and love.
It's so awfully lonely here without you, my prince.
I could. I don't see why I should, though. This hasn't been a problem before.
What? I'm confused.
You know I'll come home when I come home.
Just get home as soon as you can. For me, won't you?
No promises. It's business after all. I can't just stand up in the middle of the meeting and tell them the wife wants me home.
Then forget those peasants.
He stops and stares, looking perturbed for a moment before shaking his head. I am very confused by this interaction of people. Is he feeling ill? There's more reason for him to stay here with me, doesn't it? I'm just being a good wife, worrying about my husband and all.
Be good, dear, and stay safe. There's been all sorts of dodgy characters seen about the property. I'll be leaving Johans with you, just in case you need anything, and to be on the safe side, okay?
Okay.
But I don't need a valet. I need you here with me.
I'll be closing a big deal with a pharmaceutical company soon, if things go according to plan. Maybe, after that, I can take a breather for a bit.
No maybes. You have to promise me.
I only need him.
I'm going to be late, Hannah. The longer this takes, the later I'll get home.
Fine. Shall I see you out?
If that's what you want.
At the front door, his valet awaits, ready to accompany him for the rest of the day when he's told to stay and attend to me. I still don't like it. It looks like he doesn't either. But I ignore him in favor of the one who really matters. I hold Luke's hand in mine and give him a deep kiss. It makes my heart flutter as I see the way his eyes close for a moment of passion. Parting for air, I can only smile.
Have a good day, my prince.
Right. Off I go.
I feel like this is not normal human interaction. I still don't want him to leave. He should just stay. Forever.
If you could let go of my hand, please, Hannah.
It's just so hard to let him go when I finally have him in my grasp. Why is there italics every now and then? To watch him enter his car and leaves pain so. It leaves behind an aching, gaping hole like a hunger and a need. I'm not content until he
If
returns.
it fits you, breakfast is ready in the parlor, madam.
If anything, I'll be in a foul mood until he
Leave
returns.
and go practice your bloody sodomy elsewhere.
Peculiar.
When I turn around to hiss at it as he leaves, he's already gone and that suits me just fine. I want him to be alone, without anyone bothering me. I want to be alone with myself and my thoughts, only these halls and company. These damned halls which hold our memories, just he and I. What memories? You've been here for a couple days! There is no one else I need but my prince. Not some cheeky servant who's just living it up because he's Luke's right-hand man. Rubbish like him deserve nothing. He deserves to be thrown and locked in the attic? Hi! Why are we in the attic? What is this jump cut? Without realizing it, my feet have brought me in here. This empty, lifeless room disgusts me. The longer I stare at it, the harder it is to breathe, as if the walls are moving in on me. Yet at the same time, it pulls me in. I hear a whisper and a curiosity get the better of me as I look under the bed. There, on the far corner, a loose floorboard. The wood, despite having swelled and warped over the years, is strangely familiar, comforting in its feel, though it's not merely what my hand searches for as I reach for it. It takes quite an effort, but soon I am able to lift it. And inside, underneath the dust and cobwebs, lies a pendant, warm and familiar. I feel like I've seen this before, but I don't remember. And I swear if I just close my eyes, I can feel it beating in my palm. I feel a thrill, though I also feel like a thief for taking this. But it's mine. So without delay, I hide in our room. Okay. In front of the vanity, I see the way my eyes shine as I remove the clasp of my old necklace and put on this new one. What does? Right where it belongs. I feel like the reflection is going to change. Are you getting possessed? Hannah? 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 Are you gonna get possessed? I assume this is Japanese. What does it say? I can't read that. If I look at it like a picture, this is a crown and a face and a body and a bow. So is this like a king firing a bow? Is this a crusader with a compound bow?
Right where it belongs.
Oh God! Something's wrong with your portrait. And now we're Zack. A pleasant aroma hits me long before I cross the threshold. Faint but light and warm, a reminder of what home is. Pa's stern but commending gaze, Ma's tender smiles, the sunlight filtering through the eaves in the morning, and the distinct smell of cinnamon and vanilla as it drifts through the air every time something cooks in the room. The room, our room, Ma and Pa's pride and joy. My sister and I too eventually, but we ain't allowed to sleep there, not yet. Not until we are taller or older. Not until we learn how to take care of ourselves and not burn our hands or reach the cupboards without having to be
But a little peek wouldn't hurt, yeah?
The floorboards are colder under my feet, more than it usually is. The wall is more forbidding than what I'm used to. Farther and farther the room goes. Ma's singing ceases, and Pa...
Oh, please wait!
What's happening?
I'll be good. I'll sleep on time. Don't go!
Gunshots? What happened? There is only blinding fear. When my foot slips, the red sea that catches me is bitter and frigid, but the blood that drips my hand is warm, warm, warm. It ain't blood. The walls tumble and everything goes quiet. So, what happened? Okay. It takes a few moments for everything to fall into place. My eyes adjust to the relative darkness of the room. Despite the pleasant chill the AC brings, my shirt is clinging tightly to me, and my blanket is a tangled mess around my throat. Morning has not even arrived yet.
Way too early for this thing, man.
And too long. Too long since I've last woken up drenched in my own sweat. My head littered with thoughts that are gone as soon as my eyes open. All too often, only imprints and brief images are left to haunt me the rest of the day or until my mind forgets about it. Egad, whichever comes first. Yet vivid or not, what little I can remember does not matter. Regardless, desperation sticks clawing up, pushing, urging me to relive every moment, every sensation, and there is a twinkle in Ma's eye when she looks up from her work, flour dusting her nose and cheeks. The scent of freshly baked bread wafts from the oven as soon as Pa opens, and the homely fragrance of honey fills the room. He reaches up to wipe the small beads of sweat away from his forehead, before gesturing for me to come closer the moment he spots me in my little hiding place behind the door. I expected him to be angry, but his pat on my back when I come within arm's reach is encouraging enough. We'll have to taste these first before we put it up for sale tomorrow. You up for it, little man? Is it good enough? A knock cuts through the air before I can answer. Sharp, heavy, demanding, familiar. So distantly familiar. Ma ushers me out of the kitchen when Pa moves to answer it. But I know what waits outside. The taste and blood in my mouth sends an unpleasant churring in my gut. Ma's apron crinkles under my tight grip. Something snaps me back into place. My bed remains in utter disarray, and the wall still needed a paint job, and the wall clock ticking the opposite of my bed is as unsettling as ever. Ash is right. I should have already replaced that when I had the chance.
You're no longer there, Zachary. Here and there are miles apart. Calm down.
You need therapy, buddy. Obviously what happened was very traumatic, and human minds are a little fragile. The pressure of my own fingers against my temple is a welcome sensation over the anxiety gripping me. Am I recording this? Yes. It never really did anything to stave off the headache sure to follow after this before, but it grounds me. A little reminder that I am safe, away from that place I once called home, from Ma and Pa's. The urgency with each rap finally chases away the ghosts threatening to hang around. Why anyone thinks it's a good idea to knock at someone else's door this late confuses me. Nana would chase them away with a broom if she was here. But no matter, it's a welcome break from the thoughts about to take a morbid turn if left festering. It's probably just Ash anyway, looking for a place to freeload. I mean crash. Looking for a place to crash. Wonder of wonders why he's bothering with the courtesy when he never did so before. Even with that hunch, though habits compel me to check who it is first through the peephole. Better safe than sorry, I say. Are we gonna see the girl from the Grudge through the peephole? Except for the person that greets me on the other side ain't him. Is it girl from the Grudge? Unless his hair grew longer overnight and he stayed wearing a ponytail, of course, which is I highly doubt will happen anytime soon. No matter what, the funny thing looks in my head. I waste no time opening the latches.
Isabella, it's late.
I assume she ran here straight from the office. There's something I can't quite pinpoint in her eyes when she looks up. Her face a pallid shade, shoulders tense, breathing heavy, and an uncontrollable shaking in her hands. She's trying to hold back, hide, if I didn't know any better.
Hey, Zach. Sorry. I know it's weird for me to show up at this hour, but you were the closest to my office, and...
No. It's perfectly fine. I'm not really working on anything right now. Do you want to come in?
Is it all right? I know you should be sleeping at this hour, but I thought... I'm sorry, I just thought... I have no idea why I went here. My feet just moved on their own after I got out of the office, and... Sorry.
She trails off, her voice was lost in life. I don't blame you for not wanting to sleep alone after what you fucking saw. I wait for her to say more, but instead her only response is a downward shift on her gaze, back to her still trembling hands, as if motion alone is enough of an explanation. A minuscule gesture, easy to miss if one is not paying attention. But for someone who has seen the expression on the mirror, done the same thing too many times, and night terrors are inevitable, it is not.
Hey, don't worry about it. At least you knocked. Ash just barges in and crashes on the couch whenever he feels like it.
Does he have a key?
I swear that guy is one fine hairline away from being a criminal.
Without waiting for her answer, I step away from the door and saunter over the kitchenette. For a few good seconds, only the clinking of plates can be heard above the constant tick-tock. Late as it may be for a snack, the familiar motions keep me occupied, steering my mind away from dangerous thoughts. Isabella's company is not unwelcome either. I mean, yeah. Whatever her reasons for showing up here at such an hour doesn't matter. I'll be damned if I just turn her away, frazzled as she is. The door clicks shut behind her when she finally enters, feet scuffling again, softly against the tiled floor. In all the years I've known her, she has never once lost her ever upbeat spirit. Yet in this particular moment, she stands in the doorway, holding her arms close to herself. It's as if I'm looking at someone completely withdrawn from the person I've come to know all these years.
Do you want to drink or eat anything? I haven't restocked my food stash yet, so ingredients may be a bit limited. But I'm sure I can whip something up with what I have here.
I think I'm going to cook something here in a bit. I'll probably eat it in the next part. Actually, you know what? I'm kind of hungry. So, I'll eat during the next part, but still. Let's stop this. Where is... Yeah. Let's keep recording. We're only an hour in.
Just water will do, please. Thanks, Zach.
What? No additional food requests? That's new. I'll put something together for you anyway. Feel free to make yourself at home. You ain't exactly a new visitor here. Although my room's not at its most presentable right now. Sorry. New freelance gigs and such. Didn't have time to fix things up here lately.
It's okay. I don't mind.
Usually she'd have something more to say about that. A quip, a witty remark, to provoke laughter or two. Nothing from her this time. Only a weak smile before she takes a seat on the couch, and a silence that stretches out until what we have left hanging feels disconcerting. Before everything turns stifling and awkward, I continue talking, if only to keep the dead air at bay. How is one supposed to keep a conversation going when the person you're talking to is like this?
Anyway, Gigs, can you believe this one client we got? Boss had all my schedule shoots shifted after they caught wind of this couple buying a new property. Man, must be nice to have all the money in the world. The world itself moves for you, huh?
She curled up one side of the couch, and hugging her knees close when I bring the tray carrying the sandwiches and the water she requested. She starts to straighten up as I'm unloading the contents, but pauses as soon as I hold out my hand in a halting
You're a
gesture.
guest. Didn't I say you're free to make yourself at home? Here's your water. Careful.
The tremor of her hands, though lighter now, still hasn't subsided when she reaches out for the glass. I give her a questioning look, but she is quick to avert her eyes, keeping herself occupied by taking small gulps of water. And maybe she just doesn't want me asking questions? Worrying. This sudden loss of words is about a quiet, not normally present in our chats. Even the creaking of the old chair when I casually take the seat is a welcome break. Although the company is familiar, this has gone way past unnerving.
What happened? Overtime at work?
She doesn't answer immediately. Another gulp drains her glass of its remaining contents. One would think it would be enough for help her recover, yet she doesn't lose her taut grip on the glass as she cradles it on her lap. Her eyes take an unfocused gaze when she speaks again.
Yeah. Boss handed me extra work today. After what happened to Rose.
Rose. Why do I feel like you've mentioned her before? Sorry, I'm better with remembering faces than names.
She was my coworker. That will take some getting used to. I was just talking to her the other day.
Was? Did she resign or something? I think I'm missing a few details here, Bella.
She's dead.
You've never met her. I think I did mention her once or twice. It doesn't matter. You probably heard her name recently from the news than me.
Something clicks then. A little memory from the night before. The bright red light from the dark room, the strong odor of the stop bath, the television's barely audible murmur in the background, and a glimpse of a bloody room. The news is everywhere, even in the morning that follows. I just didn't think its effects would strike someone this close to me.
Oh. Damn. I didn't mean to bring that up.
No, like I said, it'll take some getting used to, but it'll get better. I hope it will. Things might become a little busier for me, though. She left a lot of things unfinished, and I'm one of the few people in the office who knows how she works. Boss thinks the transition will be easier if I handle it.
That explains it. Well, just don't forget you still need rest. Even the most hard-working people I know don't keep hours as late as this. Hell, the subway stopped running hours ago. Crime rate might be lower here than most places, but that doesn't mean you can walk around freely in the middle of the night.
It's just for today.
Still a good thing you dropped by here first. I'm not just about to let you walk out here alone, especially not in the middle of the night. Who knows what else could happen? I'm not saying you should go right now, but I could accompany you home if you...
No! Wait, please!
The vehement tension in her voice makes me pause, and it's this instant the mask she's been keeping up falls apart, if only for a short while. Right then and there I understood what's hiding behind her unfocused stare. From the moment she arrived, fear. Pure, unadulterated fear. It's disturbing to see such marring her usual upbeat concurrent countenance. With a sigh, I cross the small distance separating us and kneel in front of her. She doesn't flinch when I do so. However, the way she appears to make herself smaller against the couch is telling me
Bella,
enough.
This ain't just about your coworker, is it? What is it really about? I'm all ears.
The sound of glass shattering rents through the air as soon as her hold on it loosens. In the span of a few seconds, her breathing grows labored.
I don't know anymore.
She claps her hands over her ears, pressing it tightly against the sides of her head. Are you hearing that whispering right now? Her voice grows weaker with each word, each plea coming out of her mouth.
Please don't leave me alone. I don't want to be alone right now. I can't shake it off. Everywhere's not safe and...
All right, Isabella. Look at me. Look at me.
My hands are firm on her shoulders when I pull her up to look at me. It takes every force of will to ignore the terror in her eyes in favor of taking control of the situation. Too close, too similar.
Breathe. You're safe here. Inhale, hold, exhale. Stay in the present. I'm here. No one's gonna hurt you. Do you want to talk about it?
The force with which she shakes her head is enough reason to drop the topic altogether.
No more. Please, no more. I don't want to remember anymore.
Kate, no more talking. I won't ask any more. Can I get you anything? Another glass of water? I think I have a tub of that pistachio ice cream you love so much. We're gonna have to clean this mess first. Will you be fine on your own for a little while?
She nods lightly before retreating into herself. No more words are exchanged after that, and I take that as my cue to start cleaning the shards littering the floor before either of us get hurt. The quiet hum of the AC is a pleasant distraction as I go over to the menial task, more so than her ragged draws of breath or my little feeble attempts to tell a quick story or two. But the latter does the trick, and soon enough she's already drifted off by the time I return with the promised glass of water, her chest rising and falling in a steady rhythm, the strain on her shoulders gone. Frankly, I've never seen her this still. She mumbles something I don't quite when I carry her to empty bed and hugs herself tighter against the mess of blankets. In spite of the fact that she appears relaxed, the small frown on her face hasn't quite disappeared. Whatever happened to her won't be leaving her anytime soon. But for her sake, I hope it won't stay long with her. There are still questions left to be answered, but the late hour coupled with sudden exhaustion made my old couch a more comfortable bed than it typically is. Dankness immediately welcomes me as soon as my head hits the makeshift pillow. I can only wish the dreams will come at a distance for now. For both of us. The first few notes, while muffled, are enough to wake me. In the end, it becomes one of those nights when sleep passes like a blink and is plagued with vague, fuzzy thoughts. I lift a hand to rub away the drowsiness from my eyes, although it does little to relieve the gritty, burning sensation in my eyelids. Outside, the sun is yet to peek over the horizon, but the night is already given way to the cool morning light, washing everything in subtle gray hues. This hour, the entire city remains unstirring. Ordinarily, waking up before my own alarm means abusing the snooze button twice or thrice just to catch those precious few extra minutes of sleep. But persistent ringing makes it impossible now.
This better be good.
Groggily, I scrambled for the bag sitting on the floor in front of my bed. The ringing still hasn't stopped even as I fish the phone out, and Ashton's name flashes brightly on the screen when I turn on. Must be pretty urgent if he hasn't dropped the call
Took
yet.
you long enough, Z-Man.
Ashton, it's 6 in the morning. Sun hasn't even risen. Hell, my brain ain't even awake yet. Stop calling me Z-Man.
It's 20 past 6, Zach.
You're one to talk. Give me back my 5 extra minutes, Ash. I want my sleep.
Hey, don't make fun of me. I can be a more person too if I want to.
What's this all really about? You don't usually make calls around this hour. Is the world ending today?
Sorry about that. Becca rang me up a few minutes ago looking for Isabella. Said she didn't show up in her own apartment last night. We both tried calling, but her phone seems to be off. Do you have any idea where...
I should have known you two would come looking for her first thing in the morning.
Not a laughing matter, Zach. You can't really let your guard down with everything that's happened here recently. You've heard about the Cooper woman from the news. Everyone in the precinct has been restless ever since the incident the other day.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Listen, Ash, about Bella.
I let my voice trail off, unsure of how to go about recounting last night. If I should even say anything to him. He might be a close friend, but at the end of the day, whatever's bothering her ain't mine to speak of in the first place. On the bed, Isabella remains as still as when I transferred the night before. Sometime during her sleep, she pulls out a blanket over herself and tucked in comfortably. Like this, it's easy to forget the horror in her eyes, or how much her hands and lips trembled. Save for her firm grip on the edge of the covers, she appears nearly as normal as she would any other day. Almost.
I'm not really sure how to go about this while being...
Zach, what about her?
Something, the worry, the concern, must have surfaced in my tone, because his own shifts that, carefully as if preparing for the worst.
Look, you don't have to worry about her. She's with me right now. Since last night, in fact.
Oh, why didn't you just say so earlier?
She kinda knocked in the middle of the night. I couldn't possibly wake you two over that. And with how things are when she arrived, I thought it'd be best if I let her rest first. I just wasn't expecting people would be looking for her before the rooster even crows.
You could have at least called her something. Becca's beside herself with worry when she found out. You know how much she frets about the smallest stuff.
I know. I'm sorry. That was a lapse on my part. And I just didn't think... Okay, you know what? Rebecca's worries ain't completely baseless. Isabella hasn't been her usual self since the movie. Maybe even before that. I don't know if I should be opening my mouth about this, but Bella didn't outright say I shouldn't, so...
So something's wrong then?
I'm not quite sure, to be completely honest. I couldn't get a story out of her.
Really? I thought you'd learned something from me by now.
That's not it. Ash, when she appeared at my doorstep last night, she was shaking, and when I tried to ask her about it, she just panicked. Had this frightened look on her face. I'd be surprised if this was the first time I've seen it, but it ain't. Dude, the first time, she was screaming.
First time? When was this? You weren't talking about the thing in the movie house, are you? Because that was just us fooling around. Granted, I think I went overboard with the joke, but...
No, it happened the day after. When she invited us to lunch, you weren't there. We were walking one second, and then the next, she's crying out. I'll be straight with you. That scared me shitless.
It bothered him if the way he falls silent after his telling. But whatever his opinion, it stays absent from his voice when he speaks out again. He's always been good at that, hiding what he
Did
thinks.
she say anything else?
Nothing. Won't tell me anything aside from a few vague words. I didn't want to push it.
Where is she? Is she still sleeping?
Right here with me, still sleeping. Should I wake her up or something? Let her know you guys are looking for her?
No need. Let her rest. I'll drop by in a few.
Today? Don't you have work at this time? I mean, I can drop her off home myself before meeting my client later.
Look who's talking.
My schedule's flexible, Ash. Last time I checked, you're the one who didn't have that luxury. How on earth do you think I'm able to tag along when you need me?
It's not completely out of the way.
They live on the other side of the town from you, Ash. Your definition of out of the way is a little screwed up, you know.
It's fine. I have some things I need to do anyway. I'll call you back. I've got to let Becca know.
He drops the call before ending your work. The orange bottle sitting at the edge of my bed is reassuring against the palm instant I pick it up. Sarah ordered the capsules for the cell. But the weight they carry is something I've never gotten used to. Years ago, I'd spend minutes, even hours, staring at a single pill before taking one in. Now it's just a routine, a way to stave off the unwanted nightly visits. Although, I don't think Dr. Navarro will be quite pleased if he ever finds out I'm blind on them again. We do owe him a visit, regardless, especially after missing our appointments, on purpose and ignoring his calls for weeks. Another sigh comes out, tired and weary, and then I pop the tablet.
Zach? What time is it?
The bottle in my hand hits the table with more force than necessary. As much as I trust my friends, there are some things I'd rather keep.
Morning, Bella. Did you sleep well?
She answers the question with a long drawn one reminiscent of a child. In this manner, it's easily mistaken for someone too young for responsibilities, inexperienced and immature. Easy to forget she was thrust into the role of an adult earlier than her own dreams can afford. To overlook how surprising absurd she can be at times.
Only a little. I don't remember how I ended up on the bed, though.
My doing. You didn't look very comfortable sleeping on the couch, all hunched up like that.
It would have been enough for something temporary. Sorry I stole your bed.
Hey, it doesn't matter. Besides, what kind of gentleman would I be if I leave a lady sleeping in such uncomfortable conditions? Not in this house. My nana would give me a tough scolding if I ever did that, I'm telling you.
Thanks a lot, Zach. I know I barged in at a very inconvenient time last night. I wasn't really thinking when I did, and...
Hey, it's cool, Bella. I ain't mad at you. That's what friends do. You guys are welcome here anytime. Although Ashton abuses the anytime part a lot. I don't really mind. We might have less wiggle room if all 4 of us are present, considering the size of this place. But as long as no one makes anything explode, it's totally fine.
Fine or not, I still owe you one for last night's trouble, especially since you don't seem to be... Well, you don't seem to be feeling well. Let me know, okay? I'll make it up to you somehow.
Subtlety has never been one of her greatest assets. But right now, even Ash would have been a little amazed, if not at loss for words at that. She has left it up to me whether I'll ever give her a response if she wants to hear or not. Well, we should save. Tell her the truth. It's never easy, ain't it? Talking about my own problems, that is. It will never be. Not by a long shot. Not when I've let it stay this way for so long. I realized that long ago, when the wounds are still fresh and the dreams are a nightly occurrence. You can't force yourself to get better or move on to better things. It is what normal now, and I can only cope. Question her eyes may be unwarranted, born simply out of curiosity and sincere concern for a friend. I don't owe her an explanation, in fact, but all of the people I keep close in my life, she's probably one of the very few who perhaps I can trust with this. Maybe she won't understand entirely. I can never hope she will. No, never to the full extent. That alone is expecting too much of her, and giving too much of what I can. Moreover, for all of her shortcomings, I know she'll hear me out, and that is all I can ask.
My bad. I was kind of hoping you wouldn't have seen me with these.
Bills rattle lightly against the computer when I gently set it back to its usual place. Always a small area closest to my laptop near the wiring in. Within reach whenever, and a quiet reminder of what I shouldn't miss every day.
What? Oh, is it bad? I was just thinking that maybe it's a cold like Becca's. Do you need me to get anything from the store? Soup or something? There's one nearby, right? I can run real quick and...
No, nothing of that sort. I'm perfectly healthy right now. It's really difficult to say, but can you promise me you'll listen at least?
What is this about, Zach?
I should have been upfront with you about this a long time ago. Well, Ashton found out without me telling him anything. But you already know how that guy is. Can't hide anything from him.
If it's something you're having trouble saying, you don't have to force yourself to tell me. I'll forget I ever saw anything and won't ask questions. Promise.
No, I need to get this off my chest eventually. Besides, we're already here. Might as well finish what I started, yeah?
Very true.
If you say so.
She takes a seat on the couch, her posture easy and open, and her smile honest, and if this is just a simple talk between two friends on a regular day. It is far from one, for her unreserved air is enough to stamp down the twinge of unease that threatens to come
Let's
up.
hear it then.
And she does. True to her word, she listens while the story spills from my mouth. Of my mom and pa in that little old diner across the pond, and what left me in that day. I can't recall most of it now, my own account jagged with a few missing details here and there. The passing years have eroded most of my recollection in the most whole instant, all except that one moment in the kitchen. The ringing of gunshots are as vivid as it sounded that day. Even Ma's hysterical screams, and Pa's body hit the floor, motionless, his lifeblood flowing out from under him, and the gunman. He was smiling. He was smiling when Pa opened the door to welcome. He was smiling when he put a barrel in Pa's chest and Ma's head. I heard stories of how the world was a cruel place for people like us before. I never believed them until that moment.
Nan and Gran took us right after that. Sis and I flew straight to New Jersey as soon as they heard the news. A few days after, Ma and Pa were laid to rest. And we have a new home a continent away. I didn't even get the chance to take my favorite pillow with me. They said something about the change of environment will be good for us. They had no idea the different kind of ghosts would follow me here.
Unexpected questions, most of those bring a childlike curiosity. Maybe some that are a little too hard to answer. But to her credit, she just sat there, went her ears, and looked at me with no expectations or unnecessary judgment in her eyes. She appears wiser and older like this, easier to see, a breadwinner now. Her younger siblings are lucky to have her. When we're done, after everything's been said, she wraps her arms around me. A bit awkward considering the gap in her heights, but it gets her sentiment across. But it's difficult to answer this in kind, if I am even supposed to reciprocate this gesture, given my earlier apprehension. She pulls away shortly with a smile on her face. Not the reaction I braced myself for, but it's obviously better than what I imagined.
Are you not gonna say anything?
Am I supposed to say anything after? Like, apologize or something? I don't think that's very appropriate, but if you want to hear one, I can think of something real quick.
Not really. Other people have something to say after usually. And they're not necessarily nice either.
I don't know what you would say to somebody that wouldn't be nice about that. I mean, obviously if you need it, you need it. And you had a very, very traumatic thing happen. So, the only thing I would definitely say to somebody is, the only concern is, depending on some of the chemicals in there, whether or not it might be hard on your kidneys. But I mean, usually you just drink some extra water and some Gatorade, and that should help your body sort that out. But I don't see why somebody would judge you for that.
Oh, okay then. I won't. I can't think of something anyway. Sorry, I'm not very good with this. Who else knows, by the way?
My older sister, grandparents, and just Ash and you for now. Maybe I think I should tell Rebecca too, but...
But not right now?
Yeah, not right now. When I'm ready. Like today.
I'm sure she'll be willing to hear you out once you do.
I don't doubt she will. I'm more afraid of how she'll react after. One step at a time, yeah?
I can't see it really being a bad reaction, but I think I'll want to stop this recording here. I need to use the bathroom. So I think what I'm going to do is I definitely want to keep recording, but I'm going to go use the bathroom. Then I'm going to take a shower, probably brush my teeth, cook something, and then I'll probably eat whatever I cook while making the next video. So next video you'll see me with a... Well, you won't see me, but you'll hear me with something edible. Bye.